Please help me to welcome our first speaker. Arlynn is working on, presentation mastery, persuasive speaking level 3. Her speech is Grandma's Victory Pantry. During World War II, people were encouraged to grow backyard gardens. These gardens were known as victory gardens. The Victory Pantry was a similar effort. However, this effort has been reborn in communities today. Our next speaker is presenting her persuasive speech project from Presentation Mastery as she persuades us to rethink Grandma's Victory Pantry. Let's hear about it from Arlynn.
Fellow Toastmasters, I'm here tonight to persuade you to have a Grandma's Victory Pantry. Now, you might be asking yourself, why did Grandma need a victory pantry? Well, let's look at what might have happened during Grandma's life, depending on when she was born. In 1936, well, that was the warmest record ever for temperatures. There were massive droughts and crop failures. Right after that was when Pearl Harbor happened and the United States was drawn into World War II. That came about with ration cards as a result of lost jobs. In 1946, they had 18.1% inflation. Compare that to today's 9.1%, and you could only imagine the type of discomfort they were feeling. That resulted in what became known as a strike wave. Over 5 million United States citizens went on strike in all industries across the nation. Then there was the Vietnam War. Then there was the Cuban Missile Crisis. And even as late as 1979, we had very high inflation. What was in Grandma's Victory Pantry was very simple. 4 ingredients made up the basics: rice, beans, milk, and oatmeal. Now, you might be surprised to know that they are still available even today. I took screenshots of Sam's Club because that's where I like to shop, but they're available most anywhere. I made note of the prices here so that you could take a look at them. If we were to buy one each of these items from Sam's Club right now today, 25 pounds of rice, 12 pounds of pinto beans, 10 pounds of oatmeal, 4 pounds of milk, you would spend $52. And you would add 72,630 calories to your pantry. That is enough for a person to eat 1,200 calories a day. Now, I know you're saying 1,200 calories a day, Arlynn, that's not enough. No, it's not. But these are the basics. You can add these to other items in your pantry. If you have a can of soup in your pantry, pour that soup over the rice. The soup will flavor the rice. The rice will make that soup go further, which is what we call meal stretching. Now, I know Cynthia's over there going, that's still not enough. I want more calories than that. Okay, let's go back to Sam's and do some more shopping. I personally would add fats because all that other stuff, those were carbohydrates, weren't they? I want to add some fats. I'm adding raisins and peanut butter and walnuts. Yum. These are add-ons. If you added that to what we already bought, you'd spend $84 and have enough for 1,700 calories a day. Now, you might not like it. You might lose a little weight, which most of us can afford to do. But you could, if necessary, live totally, solely on these items. What would that look like? I put all of the ingredients into an online nutritional analysis. Don't worry about the numbers, just pay attention to the color coding here. If you see green, it means this nutrient met the US RDA, the recommended daily allowance. The yellow means you haven't quite met it yet, and the red says you've got more than the minimum requirements. More is usually not a problem. But you might also see that you're lacking in a few things. For instance, if these vitamins down here are important to you, at least now you know, oh, I might want to stock a multi-day vitamin to help fill in the brunch. Here's the minerals. This is looking pretty good, wouldn't you say? Many green lines here. And look over here at the protein. My goodness, lots of green. And even the yellows aren't too far from being green. This is a diet that is not sexy. Yes, it's bland. Yes, it's boring, but it will sustain your body in a nutritional way. Now, I would like to bring you back to minerals for just a second, and let's talk about salt, because we are required to have salt. Our body needs it. And if you're not eating regularly processed foods, you're going to be lacking in salt. So just add a pinch of salt to those beans. Makes it good, just like Grandma made it. Chronometer.com, this is the nutritional analysis that I like to use. And you can see here how it comes out when you put all these nutrients in. You can look at this now and decide if you're happy with this or not, and how you might want to customize it for your family's nutritional needs. 295 carbs, that's a lot for me. I don't usually eat that much. And we'll have to call on Brother Steve to see if that's enough fiber or not. And Charlie would have to tell us if that's too much sugar or not. But you can see now how you might want to customize it. For me, I want protein. And we've been blessed because we've got a lot of protein options today that our grandmas didn't have. You probably have some meat in your freezer. You can add that here. You could also buy canned meats if you want chicken or beef or ham or spam. Yum. But you could also choose from salmon, tuna. Maybe you don't like meat at all. You prefer your protein in eggs. We can do that. Maybe you'd rather have that stuff that you make the protein shakes with. We can do that. The last step in a successful grandma's pantry is to store it rodent-free. That's why Grandma used buckets. That's why she reused plasticware and glass jars to protect her pantry from rodents. We don't want to be inviting Mr. Rat into dinner now, do we? I have shown you one example of Grandma's Victory Pantry. I showed you what to buy, how to customize it, how to store it. You can, for less than $100, have a fairly nutritious diet for one person for 60 days. If you've got more than one person in your family, well, you can do the math. If you want more than 60 days in your pantry, that math is easy. But having food on the shelf just gives us resilience when times are unsettled. If you're feeling unsettled by the events of today, I suggest that you talk with family and friends about how you might be able to help each other when times get hard. I suggest that you make a plan. I suggest you act on that plan to make sure the plan is successful. And then your grandchildren can talk about Grandma's Victory Garden. Madam Toastmaster.